Hi friends, Andromeda of Earth here for our new moon in Pisces reading. We also have Mercury retrograde in Pisces, so there's a lot of that murky soup, the primordial everything is how I like to view Pisces. They call it the master of the zodiac, mainly because it's the 12th spot, position, direction is really what the signs are, different directions in the sky. Yet it is only from this primordial space of the everything that Aries can then burst through and be. And so whether it is the initial sign, zodiac, whatever you want to call it, or 0 to the Aries 1, does that make it the master? Does that make it it's the beginning or the end? And I think that's part of the confusion with Pisces. Speak from experience. I have Pisces rising in the 25th degree. I think that's one reason why I really enjoy tapping into the universal. It helps me to give a little bit of structure to what it is that I'm experiencing. The cards and the meta symbology and all that stuff. It literally just gives me more information, which is helpful when you're feeling pretty much everything and able to see all the perspectives and sides. So that being said, I want to do a spread from Sharon, Seeds of Shakti. They come out with a new moon ritual and spread and a full moon ritual and spread every couple of weeks. They're always very beautiful. Also want to work with the Antique Anatomy today, and then my Oracle of Oddities I keep in this bag here. I really connected with this deck. Believe I have two versions. I don't know whether it's the first or second. I have the third. I think we'll use the tarot for the spread, and then we'll use the oracle for our light and dark. Thank you for being here. Definitely let me know if this information resonates, if it speaks with you, if it gives you insights into yourself. My goal is always to provide the space for self-exploration. You do the work. I'm not here to tell you what's going to happen. I'm here to tell you who you are, what you should think, what you should do. My goal is to convey messages that are from yourself to yourself. And it can be really hard to see our intuition clearly when we have a lot of desire. And so because we are very focused, and it's not necessarily something that I advocate for, loss of desire. Desire is very powerful, but in my opinion it does cloud intuition, and maybe that's just something I need to work on, right? So here's the Antique Anatomy bag. I have the mass market. At first I wasn't like super loving the thinner cardstock, but I do see the benefit in being able to shuffle in more ways than you can shuffle with thicker cardstock. You can't do I can't remember the specific name of the shuffle. Anyway. I welcome any and only benevolent beings to this space. Any ancient ascended master, any angels who are in alignment with divine will and universal law are welcome here. What information do we need to receive for the Pisces new moon? What do I need to surrender to the ebb and flow of the waves? What do I need to do? The 9 of Rods. So we have the ending of a cycle. Rods are wands in this deck, and so we have a creative endeavor. Oh, those daffodils. Reading intuitively, I think about the color. Yeah, that's like an orangey yellow, like a gold, and so I'm very much thinking about solar plexus. Really tapping into our solar plexus, our will, our self-determination, and maybe having some compassion for those spaces. You know, when we're creating something, sometimes we have to think about what we are not creating and really allowing ourselves to put things to bed and to rest when it needs to, so that the things that you do want to focus on can come to fruition. So that's really what I'm seeing, is that in order to surrender to the ebb and flow, you know, it's okay to walk away. It's okay to have an ending. That's really what's going to need to be. If you think about, you know, like in a storm or in something, if you're like holding on to something that's not like meant to be for you, it's really going to hurt your hands. It's really going to hurt you. It's best for everything to just kind of let go, surrender to the storm. Kind of like, I'm thinking, like, I've heard, if you're like caught in a tornado, it's actually best if you are like passed out, not aware of it, versus like if you know what's going on, you're like bracing yourself, and that bracing yourself is the reason why things would get injured, versus if you were just like not aware, conscious, you're more loose. So letting go for things. Let things be as they're going, knowing that, you know, the storm will end at some point. You know, Pisces season will change. The sun will move in our sky. In what aspect of my life can I be more fluid? 2 of Rods. So our partnerships, I think of with 2s. We've got tiger lilies. This is definitely more an orange, reddy kind of color. But it's also got some yellow in there, so very much root to solar plexus. There's green in there too, so up to the heart. So allowing your energy to flow from your root to your heart, especially in regards to your partnerships. Begin from the root there. Find your safety. Then it's easier for it to just come up in your energy being more fluid, because that's really what I'm seeing. In what aspect of my life can I become more fluid? How about the way that your energy flows? Most of us are very much in our root chakra, maybe our sacral chakra if we're fortunate to be able to get past that hierarchy of needs of having your safety and things that we need, being food, clothing, shelter, touch, being clean. I think about smells with the root chakra. So allowing ourselves to have those things met and then moving on. Don't get just stuck in that one aspect. Trusting yourself, trusting your partner. We've got the Two of Rods. Trust in your creation. Know that you are making something, and your passion, ambition is sparking it life. And when you spark life, there's only a little amount of control that we really have to those creations that we make. Like children, you make them and you can attempt to mold them. Not that I would want to, but yeah, you could, really, all parents have, some sort of idea of what they want to have for their children, but at the same time, it's the child has their own, the creation has their own drive and will and mastery, and trusting that creation, definitely super important for you to really even get up into the solar sacral chakra. And once that happens, then you can actually have that self-drive, that self-trust, determination, will of your solar plexus. When that happens and you can breathe, it's just easy to live in your heart. In that you are breaking through this barrier that happens between our solar plexus and our heart. How can I trust my intuitive inklings without doubting myself? Hermit. So, spending time with yourself. Allow yourself to just be, simply. Whether it means that you're with a book, whether it means that you are just with your candle. It is allowing the stillness. That's how we are going to be able to trust our intuitive insights. It's only when there is the quiet can we actually hear the answers to our prayers, right? Spend time in meditation. One really great way to meditate is to light a candle, and just be with it. Watch the flame safely, you know, breathe with it, watch it dance with your breath, knowing that everything that's happening around you is a potential message. Of course the universe is talking to you. Why wouldn't it? As I drift into dream time, what messages are seeping through the veil from the other side? Two of Blades, so two swords. Also some partnership energy there. When I think of twos and swords or blades, I think about the potential for arguments. You know, these blades are crossed. You know, we have one white and one black, and it doesn't mean that one is good and one is bad, or the white and black flowers. It just means that they have different perspectives. And it really is beautiful. The light and the absence of light. I have to have both in order for things to be created. You've got one opinion one way, another opinion the other way. And while it may seem like these guys are at odds, they very much could be providing more solid structure for themselves. They're working out the kinks. I almost see like a reinforcing wall. You know, if you put a bunch of blades all up like this all together, you'd have a pretty strong barrier, which allows you to then to flourish. You know, you really have to work through the kinks and allow both sides to be, or all sides to be, in order to have a strong whole being. I'll take a look at our dreams, right? Because that's what this is about. If we're having dreams of arguments, of opposition, of fear, this is just providing you information that you are to dive into, to analyze, it's coming to your awareness so that you can work through it in the subconscious state, so that when you're in your conscious state, you don't have to do the arguing. And so, although it might be scary, our dreams protect us. They do a lot of work. Our subconscious, our unconscious does a lot of work for us. It's good to get out those anxieties and fears, the arguments in dream time. It prepares us. Yeah. How can I hold space for my creativity to flourish and thrive? That's from the Oracle deck. Strength. I'm almost kind of like called to like share it, the card that I got. Like I was supposed to get both for this. So how can I hold space for my creativity? And from the Oracle deck, I got connection. So really allowing ourselves to connect with our creations. It's, you know, instead of being so withdrawn, like I am the creator and this is my, you know, my creation, being separate two things, allowing ourselves to come together and know that they inherently cannot separate, although we are not able to specifically control that creation in its entirety. It's kind of like the strength card typical representation having a woman or a person and a lion, a male lion. So we got the feminine and then the masculine there, a human versus animal, but they are really one. You know, the human is typically holding the lion or opening their jaws or something. So they're looking inside and they're looking into their animalism and their instincts. And so being with your creation, connecting with it, and then looking at it in its entirety, accepting it for what it is, without judgment. That's how you're going to hold the space. I know I judge my creations quite a bit, and it's these messages, you know, of course, they're to share with whomever wants to whomever wants to experience it, but they're also for me too. So, you know, I definitely, you know, take my own advice. Not that this is advice, this is just information, but being a little less judgy about what I've done, and know that this has come through for a reason, like it is. And even though I might not be 100% like sure, knowing that that's just me and my own self-worth and not reflection of the creation. That's a reflection of myself viewing the creation. So you know, accepting our self as a whole, accepting our creativity for what it is. I see we've got a really red, robust flower here all around the femur, the largest bone in your body, and strongest bone in your body. How can you know, what is the most robust part of what you're doing, your creativity? What is the strongest part in utilizing it? Knowing our strengths, utilizing our weaknesses. Never thought about that. Like, flowers are really gentle, you know, and these ones look so like fuzzy and you know, the colors are just very rich. I wish it would focus. Well, I will of course have pictures with an altar up for part 2, along with journal prompts for us all to dive in further with this energy. The message from our ancestors. We have the High Priestess. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure one of the energies of the High Priestess is Pisces. The representation is really interesting here, having a head full of flowers. So we have everything that we need inside of us. It's almost like our crown, you know, it's our blossoms, our display of royalty. And you can see all of her teeth. Looks like, you know, this is a young person because they haven't gotten their second set of teeth in. They're still in there. So there's something to be said about, you know, a young, you know, that adolescent, innocent female energy. You know, tapping into that being the message. Because we all have a little girl inside of us, whether you have a penis or not. You know, they're innocent. They've got that white flower crown there. Listening to her, being with her, spending some time with her, and she'll tell you things. She'll give you those insights that you need when you need them. She's got so much more coming for her, for the world, for us all. In the meantime, she's just going to wear her crown. You know, you can help tend to the flowers if you'd like. See if there's any weeds in there. You know, we are all very much like monkeys, you know, or we were monkeys at one point and they grew. That's how you socially be a monkey. So why not spend some time with your little girl, brush her hair, braid her hair, color her hair, you know, mess it up, get a haircut. Plant some flowers. See what happens. Cast your line out to that everything of Pisces. Our light and dark. These both are beautiful. Our light is protect. So obviously we want to we all have self-preservation. It's innate. You know, especially when we've got the two blades, two of rods, two wands. It's like we could go in either direction. But you've got two very solid pieces of yourself that are keeping you protected. And your connection to the earth, that's what I see with the black roses there. It's a very earthy, grounded energy. So feel free to protect your space. That will be your light in this new moon season, new moon phase. There you go. And our dark, and that makes sense, is duality. I apologize for the not focus. So we have a lot of twos and a lot of crosses in this reading here, and it'd be easy to look at that and be like, oh my gosh, so much duality. But it's true that we have the bat and the snake over here and the bird and the flowers over here, but they're not separate. They're actually one being. So finding the space of commonality, that's what's going to, it's not easy right now being in our dark, our shadow, it's being veiled, but it wants to be seen. You know, it was the bottommost part, and so the darkness and the light are attracted to each other. They like to meet. And in fact, you can't have one without the other. You can look at whichever side you want. You can look at your left side or your right side, but it's not going to change who you are. You are still duality. Accepting our darknesses are way more powerful than resisting them. I hope that provides a little bit of insight as to what's going on this new moon in Pisces. Like I mentioned before, we'll have part 2 up on Patreon with symbolism and some journal prompts, questions for us to explore on our own time. Thank you so much for being here.